All right, so I'm going to teach you custom borders. So first, let me get rid of this because I was using it for another tutorial. So let's say I have let's say I have a table of some sort, right? I'm just going to justify this. And I'm also going to get rid of the grid lines. I'm going to get rid of grid lines so you can kind of have an idea what it looks like if you print it. If you go to View on the main menu tab, you go Show, you just untick grid lines. Okay, so we'll click it there. And so if I print this, I'm going to go to Print Preview, right? And I zoom out a bit so you can see it. That's all I see, right? So don't let it fool you when you have grid lines thinking, oh, I'm going to have borders and everything, right? So use this grid lines function to see what it actually looks like. Now, obviously, I want some sort of border. If you do anything with like data visualization, borders are like things you really have to learn, okay? So let's do some bordering, and I'll show you some of the different variations. In one of my other videos, I did show how to do the basic things, so you can do like all borders, like so. Let me turn off grid lines so you can see. And actually, these dotted lines, if you don't know, these are actually print breaks. So I'm just going to get rid of that because that's kind of annoying. So let's go. The way I find it is actually this tab thing is always kind of roughly in the middle. Here we go. Show page breaks. Let's get rid of that. All right. So that's kind of what it looks like. My problem with this, especially if kind of you're a bit more advanced or you're kind of looking to become an analyst or a dashboard designer, right, is that text is usually black. And if you make your borders black, it competes with the human eye in terms of what gets attention, right? And I'll explain what that means. Let's say I make this red. Okay, now close your eyes and then open it. What do you see straight away? That's data visualization. Okay, it's what your brain will naturally read before you've kind of consciously read it. It's how our ancestors would recognize things, you know? Okay, so I'm going to leave that. I'm going to change that. So what I like to do for borders is highlight the whole thing, click on the borders, right? And instead of doing just the default all borders thing, I like to do like my own customization. Okay, so if I click here on the bottom, I can go more borders. Okay, and this thing controls the grid. Now, you may think that because it's only a 2x2, it only represents this part. And that's not true. What it's actually doing is these borders represent the border. Sorry, I'm using like a trackpad, not a mouse, right? And then this vertical line represents all internal vertical lines. Okay, so they're all going to be treated as one. And obviously, this horizontal one is going to be all the horizontal lines. All right. And so what you do is in terms of application, I like to change the color. So you can go color, make it like this middle gray. Okay. It's going to change all your different line types. And let's say I'm going to put the dash one and I want it in the middle. So I click that middle line. As you can see, it's changing, right? And then for the border, let's say I want a double line around the border, and let's change that color to blue, for example. So now I can click blue all the way around, or I can use these buttons here. So I can say outline blue, or I can say the internals are blue. Same thing as I can do like this. Let's make orange the internals. I can also control it like so, right? Or you can just use the visual interface. Now to deselect, it's like you just cycle through, right? On, off, on, off. Okay, so let's go back to here, and I'm going to do gray. Sorry, it should be a straight line. Border on the outside like that, and then I want dotted in the inside, like so. Now, if I go OK, what you'll notice is there's still a border, so the human eye can still see that there's like a border, right? But the data is more visible. It's easier to read. Now, once you start putting in color and shapes and size, orientation, then like your brain can read it so easily and so quickly, right? So obviously there's going to be lots of different variations you can do using this trick. Okay, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you at the next video.